Spaghetti is one of the most commonly enjoyed dishes in the modern world. Its name comes from the Italian word spago, meaning string. Let's dive into the fascinating story behind these long, thin strands of pasta. Around the 9th to 11th centuries, Arab rulers in Sicily created a dried food made from thin strands of wheat dough. This food, called Itriya, is considered the direct ancestor of modern spaghetti. By the 15th and 16th centuries, ordinary people in Naples suffered from extreme poverty. Meat was a luxury most could only dream about. To survive, they relied heavily on leafy vegetables such as cabbage and broccoli, which grew abundantly in the fertile volcanic soil around Naples. People from other regions saw Neapolitans eating greens every day and nicknamed them mangiafoli, meaning leaf eaters. Everything changed in the 17th century. Industrial screw presses were introduced in Naples, allowing pasta to be mass-produced at an unprecedented speed. At the same time, wheat prices dropped dramatically. Pasta became cheaper, more filling, and eventually replaced cabbage as the food of the poor. From then on, Neapolitans earned a new nickname, mangiamacaroni, or macaroni eaters. Today, spaghetti and tomato sauce seem inseparable, but surprisingly, they were not paired together until relatively recently. Tomatoes arrived in Europe after the discovery of the Americas in the 16th century. However, Europeans believed they were poisonous because they resembled the deadly plant belladonna. For nearly 2 centuries, tomatoes were treated as decorative plants rather than food. During the 17th and 18th centuries, several wealthy nobles became sick or even died after eating tomatoes. This only strengthened the belief that tomatoes were deadly, but tomatoes were not the real culprit. The aristocracy commonly used pewter plates that contained large amounts of lead. The acidity of tomatoes dissolved the lead from the plates. As a result, people unknowingly consumed toxic amounts of lead. Many died from severe lead poisoning, but the blame fell entirely on tomatoes. Meanwhile, poor people who used wooden or clay dishes ate tomatoes without any problems. In the late 18th century, Naples faced severe famine caused by crop failures and rapid population growth. Desperate and starving, the poor, finally, decided to eat the bright red tomatoes growing in gardens. They sautéed tomatoes in oil and served them over pasta. The experiment was a huge success. That simple survival meal became the birth of tomato sauce. In the 18th century, street vendors in Naples sold spaghetti topped with nothing more than cheese. People ate it standing up, lifting the long noodles by hand and dropping them directly into their mouths. To nobles, this looked crude and uncivilized. Then came Gennaro Spadaccini. A court official serving King Ferdinand IV. He modified the fork from 3 prongs to 4, making it easier to twirl spaghetti elegantly. Thanks to this innovation, spaghetti finally found its place on aristocratic dining tables. In 1944, American soldiers stationed in Italy were supplied with bacon and powdered eggs. Roman chefs used these ingredients to prepare a dish that would later become known as carbonara. War ended, American soldiers returned home and spread their love for the dish across the United States. Authentic Italian ingredients such as guanciale and pecorino cheese were difficult to find in America. They were replaced with regular bacon and Parmesan cheese. Traditional carbonara relies on residual heat to cook the egg yolks. But inexperienced cooks often ended up with scrambled eggs instead. To prevent this, American cooks added cream or milk. The cream kept the sauce smooth and creamy even when cooking techniques were less precise. There are 2 widely accepted theories about the origin of the name carbonara. Both theories are connected to the Italian words carbone, meaning coal, and carbonaro, meaning coal worker or charcoal burner. The first theory points to coal miners in the Apennine Mountains near Rome. These workers spent long periods in the mountains and needed foods made from ingredients that could be stored for a long time. Using cured pork, cheese, and eggs, they prepared a hearty pasta dish that may have become carbonara. The second theory involves black pepper. Carbonara is traditionally finished with a generous amount of freshly cracked black pepper. The dark specks scattered across the pasta resemble coal dust. According to this theory, the dish earned the name carbonara because it looked as if coal had been sprinkled over it. The famous spaghetti and meatballs that many people know today is actually difficult to find in Italy. It is largely an Italian-American creation. In the early 20th century, millions of Italian immigrants arrived in the United States. They were amazed to discover that meat was far more affordable than it had been back home. But in America, immigrants should afford to make much larger meatballs. They began placing these generous fist-sized meatballs on top of spaghetti.
This is Spaghetti!
I know, you're on a platter so new, but tonight you belong to my spoon.
Santo cielo! Gli spaghetti nella zuppa!
Ma stiamo scherzando?